So, Eddie,
Yes, Albert. That we can tu peux commencer en tout cas. You can start.
okay. So, Dawood,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to start now, and I'm
Okay.
going to share my screen.
Okay.
Yes.
So I was thinking about speaking on Django and then also speak about what's the name? Flask as well.
Flask.
So the two
Yes, yes,
framework.
Flask.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
no
Since
problem.
it is not Python for Django, but it's Python for web developers, right? So we speak on
Yes.
both.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks so much, Dan. Thank you.
So, I want to know if you can see my screen.
I think it's yet to show at my end.
Are you able to see my screen there?
No, not yet. Okay. Just a second. Let me confirm again. Yes, it's live.
Okay.
Tu peux commencer en tout cas. You can start.
Okay. So we are Microsoft Learn student ambassador from
I'm going to
Central Africa, and we are happy to be with you here today, Dawuda, and others from other countries around the world. This is our first event with you, and we think it will be helpful for more people here in Congo, in Central Africa, and for other students who want to join Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador Program. Then today we are going to speak about Python language programming. I know it is a good program, a powerful program, and many people need and want to use it because of its syntax is very easy to learn and very easy to use. So today we are going to do two things. We are going to do to see how we can build web application using Django and Flask, and Dawuda is going to show us what is the powerful of this language. But before that, I'm going to present the program and to see what can we do using Python language. I'm Albert, a beta student, Microsoft ambassador. I'm going to present this event with Dawuda. Dawuda is from Ghana, a gold student ambassador and a new MVP. Yes, Dawuda, you are a new MVP or an old one?
I am a new MVP. Yeah, I think
Okay.
it's no more new because it's been about 3 months, I guess. So no more new.
Okay, this is very good. So if you have some problem to see my screen, let me know, because I think it will be good to know if everyone is with me. Now let's start with Python program. What is Python? Python is not a snake. I know many people are thinking that when we say Python, the first thing to see is to think we are talking about a snake. Today we are talking about Python like a programming language created in the early 1919. It enjoys a wide range of use, from automating repetitive tasks and writing web apps to build machine learning models and implementing neural network. Researchers, mathematicians, and data scientists in particular like Python because of its rich and easy to understand syntax and the wide range of open source package available. This is to say that if you want to use Python, you are going to see many packages and on the network, and there is a large network of Python programming, and if you want everything, you are going to find everything you want to. If you want to build some web app, machine learning, and everything you want, then the first thing we can do with Python is web applications. So when we are saying about web applications, here I want to show you that if you want to build web application, Python can do it also. Python can do it too. You can use Django and Flask, two frameworks built with Python, to build your web applications if you want. You can use database there and everything you want. You can use Django and Flask to connect the database and going up. This one, after web application, we can do data science. Data science, I think it is this the thing who make Python language like a powerful language one. When I say data science, I see machine learning, deep learning, data analysis, and data visualization, and more other things, artificial intelligence. So when we want to do machine learning, deep learning, we have some libraries, some packages from Python that we can use to build our application or our models for machine learning, deep learning, data analysis, and data visualization. Then here I'm going to show you something that we can use when we want to build machine learning models, deep learning, data analysis, and other things. This is I think nowadays machine learning, deep learning, data analysis, data visualization are technologies we can't miss in applications. If you want to build best applications, we must include artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and other things. And for that, we are going to use Python. Data science, when I'm talking about machine learning, we have many models, many libraries we can use here. NumPy, Matplotlib, TensorFlow, scikit-learn, Pandas, IPython, and more libraries we can find in the network of Python. Then I'm not going to talk about each libraries or each package you see here, but it is to let you know that we can find everything we want to build our data science, our machine learning language, and machine learning models, deep learning, data analysis, and data visualization. So about machine learning, TensorFlow is the first, TensorFlow and scikit-learn. are the best library we have to build models. Here with Matplotlib we can do graphics. This is to do data visualization. We have many data you have to see and to know about our data, and here we have to use Matplotlib. Like this you see here. This is a graphic built with Matplotlib, and here you have some images to show you what is deep learning and machine learning. Deep learning, here we have a neural network. This is the basics of machine learning. If you want to know about deep learning, you are going to see neural network. After that, we can do scripting. What is scripting? Scripting generally refers to writing small programs designed to automate simple tasks. A script is a tag word for a little bit of a program written like that over the water to automate boring tasks. If you want to do something like automatics, we are trying to do many things. And then if you want to do something automatics for our computers, we can manage our computers using Python by scripting. If you want to know about your CPU, you want to know about your disk, you want to know about your everything on your computer, you can use scripting in Python, and you are going to manage your computer. And I think this is another thing we can say Python is powerful because it can help us to do everything we can't do by some languages, some programming languages. Scripting is not for every language. After scripting, by scripting we can do automatic storing of emails, file manipulation, renaming, cleaning, and modification of images, trims, filters, and so on, many things. So I want to say that see what Python can do, and we are going to see if if you have to learn Python, I think you are on your best way. You are on your best way. You can do games. You can do games using Pygame. I don't know. I didn't have time to look for many games built in Python with Pygames. But I want to let you know that if you want to build game, you can use also Python using Pygame. It is not the powerful one, but if you want to do for enjoying something, for enjoying with yourself, with your brothers, with your children, you can do a game by Pygame using Python. You can do also desk application using TechInter and PyQt. Yes, PyQt. These are not the best one or the most important library you can use for building desktop application, but it can help you to do something basics when you are going to do a demo, to present your program to someone, and someone want to see what can it how can he interact with your application using a graphic interface. Then you can use TechInter, you can use PyQt. If you want to know more about these libraries I'm listing here, Python have a large documentation for that. That we can manage our networks. manage our networks like switching and routing. If you want to know about traffics through your network, we can use Python using the library Socket. Socket is the library built by Python to manage or to control flux through a network like Cisco and other things. And you can put some scripts to manage your own network to control if there is no pirate. I don't know how to call it in English. Pirate, I don't know. But some attacks from many people, you can manage it using Python. The task you have to do now, or the work you have to do, is to go on the Python website to see the documentation about all these libraries I'm listing here, and then you are going to see that Python is a powerful language you can use. When you know to program in Python, I think you can't be like someone who don't know anything. You can be like other people who build programs in other languages. And then Python is one of the programs I like, because it is easy to learn, easy to use because of its syntax. It is free. Libraries are free here. And when you are beginning in development application, you have to begin by Python. Then you are going to see everything easy. After that, you can go to see other languages. But if you know Python, I think you have all to be a best one in programming. After this one, the challenge we have now is to see if we can build mobile app with Python. Dawuda, can you answer here? Is it possible to do mobile app with Python? Dawuda, are you here? Hi.
Okay, just a second. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, I just tried my best to unmute myself. Yeah, but
I want to know if we can do mobile app with Python.
So,
Dawuda, your network is not good today. Sorry, RG, can you hear me?
Python used to build many things. However,
yes.
No.
Yes.
Mobile. Am I breaking? Are you able to hear me?
Now, I want to ask you one question before beginning. Is it possible for you to build mobile apps using Python?
No, we don't build mobile apps with Python. Mobile apps as well. But in my company that I work with currently, we actually build USSD application, and USSD application is quite, known in African countries. I think India should be as well, where you don't need internet to be able to access, the application. Okay, so you just have your phone, your network. You can simply make like something like mobile money and all those stuff. So in my company, we use it to build USSD, aside just the web application that we use Python to build. But I haven't seen folks using Python to build mobile app yet.
Okay, no problem. No problem. Then we are going to give you time to do your demo with Django and Flask. I think we are going to know today how we can build web application using that tool framework. Yes, Dawuda.
Oh, sorry. Did I go mute? Who muted me? Did I mute myself again?
Yes, now you have it is your time now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, so like I was saying, thank you so much for this opportunity. And then the wonderful intro that you've already given to the people. It's like you've done half my job for me already. And I'm really excited that we are doing this.
Thank you.
Today, I've handled a couple of folks building some stuff with Python. Are you having an issue hearing me at all? Do you have any issue hearing me? Do you have anything I've done and then let's see? Can many of you confirm to hear me?
Yes. Dan,
yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear the.
You can hear.
Thank you again, Dawuda, to be there.
Yeah, thank you so much. Dan has had issue and he has forced to still talk. Thank you so much. So like I was saying, that it looks like half of my work has been done for me already. As you know, I'll get in the power of one way from it being just a scripting language, to it being one of the most powerful tools that you can ever use. At this point, there is an instance that some of you might be coming from other languages, and you'll be wondering whether you will be able to fit into the Python world or not. I just want to say that you are very well welcome. Myself, I was never a Python developer. I was a PHP developer, and then a time came when we wanted to compete in Imagine Cup. That was 2018. Then we realized that lots of the field and machine learning models, it is easy to do your project, your AI project in Python, as compared to doing it in PHP, or as compared to doing it in other languages. Okay, so there are like tons of people have written packages that you can simply import it and go your way.
Hi guys.
It seemed that Dawuda have internet connection problem, I think.
So that I'm trying to block Windows on my screen.
Okay, great.
I hope you guys see my window. Are you able to see what have been named after animals, like python, like anaconda, like spider? So you will hear a lot of animals named. And once when I was handling a class, one of the questions that the people asked me is that, hey, Dawood, when you talk about Python, why is it that you always name stuff after animals? And I was like, hey, I do not know. Maybe we are inspired by animals as well. in the Python community. So I just want to give you a quick, overview of, what it is like to do some fun stuff in Python. Say that I want to declare a variable called add, okay? And this add, I'm going to say that add is equal to, and I will do maybe is A is equals to 3, and we say B is equals to 5. Okay, these are just your ordinary programming languages that you know. Okay, you all know about, using something like this. So let's say you have A, you have B, you want to def, and your variable is going to be A plus B. Okay, and I mean A plus B is going to be giving you the answer, right? So if you want to print this to the to your screen, what you simply need to use is just use the print. Okay, so say I want to print an answer, I can do this and print it, but let's start by printing hello world. Okay, this is one of the popular things that most of you do in other languages. So I'll just type the word print. So these are Python syntax, and I'll click on run, and run to me on in console. So you can see that I'm running a Python code and it's saying hello world on my screen for me, right? So imagine that you want to even do more than what you are doing right now. For example, you want to output the answer. You want to get some small problem, but it's okay. So I want to print answer. I click on it, and you can see this 3 plus 3, and then it says that 3 plus 3 is what? Is 4, right? So let's just imagine that I want to even do much more complicated things, right? Then I can say that A plus answer, and I can also say that maybe the answer, so I would say that is going to be some tax. So you can see that it is going to execute what is at the top and then come and execute what is at the down and then print a value for me. And you realize I don't need to say that I want integer, I don't need to say that I want floats, but I'm getting all those things out of the box. This is a really cool thing about Python. Sometimes you also see you are coding Python, you need to be careful about indentation. So you have to make sure that you indent your code very well. We will see this in action when we are to print. This function is going to say that is going to, when anyone calls this function, it will say it will return hello world. Okay. I don't know. Maybe it should return home. All right. Let me not print this here. So I'm just going to comment this out. So even if you are new to Python, you can see that we are doing some fun Python stuff. And it looks like it's not difficult at all, whether you are coming from this programming language or that programming language. It is not a difficult thing to do in the world. So I have home. Home would just return hello world, right? Let's run our code again. Okay. And you can see home is return out. Let's run this, and you can see that this have defined a simple Python function, and this Python function is just saying home. Okay, let's change the name of the home to greetings. And you can see that when I say greetings and I return the greeting, I run it up. You can see that it says name is sorry. Okay, we are told that home is not defined because obviously home is not defined. So let's run this part. And you can do something, and you can do calculations, whether you want to output something in whether I want to convert something from integer, you can also. So it's again from this stage, but I realized that Albert had, given you a gist. So even if you are new to Python, this presentation is like a wow thing for, everyone to get involved, in building Python. So I decided to, okay, why not give you, even if you are new, how to add 2 numbers in Python, how you can print hello world in Python, how you can define a function in Python, and even more, you can run control structures like saying that if A is actually true or false, then it should do something for you. So Python is that fun. So let's say if A is going to be greater, and what is really great about Python is that it's a language that makes things even much more easier. So if A is greater than B, then it should say something. Now you can see that indentation is very much needed over here in our web, right? So if so, then we should maybe print, say that print. We can use the print function and we say that hello, or we say A is greater than B. Okay, and I would execute my code over here, and you can see A is not greater than B there. Now, what if, can we write else? Yes, we can write else as well. So else, it should just say that print, it should print for us that, it should print B is greater than A. Let's run this code again. Okay, so you can see that it is saying that B is greater than A, right? So these are all things that, you won't get. I mean, it's super easy to write stuff within Python. That of, you being able to do more things with Python as compared to other programming languages. So even if you are new to web development today, you're going to be hearing some concepts like routing, you're going to be hearing some concepts like, templating and all those fun stuff. And it's really a great, way to begin web development. So why don't we step in the game and look at the 2 things that we mentioned, Django and then the Flask framework. Okay, whilst I'm quickly presenting this, I would also want to show you my channel that should we be done here? I mean, because of time, you can always visit my YouTube channel, and then I have some recorded sessions on Python. I have some recorded sections on React.js. So, I'm a web developer who likes to program in many using many technologies, so including Python, including PHP, including JavaScript, and I do more of C# and all those stuff, right? So you can check up on my channel, and we also have a session coming up on MS Inspire. You can check it up. A channel that runs things every week for you. So I'll just click on my channel. You check over there in my playlist. I have you can take all these are available for you. Should we not be able to catch up with everything today, if you want to learn Flask, I have Flask tutorial here. I've begun series on it. You can go watch it out. Okay. All right, so whilst we've shown that, let's look at sample Flask application. So suppose that you've what is Flask and what is Django? Okay, so the whole point is that we can use Python, just ordinary Python, to build web applications, but it might take us it is simple to do, but some people have sat down and said that, a community has sat down and said that, there are things that we've been doing it repeatedly. Why don't we develop like kind of a framework, right? So that it can like we can do all for the things that need that, and then just empower them so that they can focus on building or solving solutions for the community, rather than having to deal with starting everything from scratch whenever they want to code or one is the framework is it's just a simple thing to do because it's minimal. It is of no stress. It is when we start building our right. So their even definition says that Flask is a micro framework, which is actually really small. Okay, so Flask is one way that you can build your web applications, and Django is on the other hand. When you want to use Django to build application, Django comes in with ORM, which means that databases, the concept of databases and all those things have been taken very good care for you. So you can simply start using Django to build web applications as well. So I just wanted to call your attention that there are two ways. There might be even more, actually more that help you to build web application, but this is your go-to if you want to start, building an application. So before we do anything else, I just want you to know something. For example, I went to Dawud. I went to youtube.com, and then I want to go find, is within the domain of Dawud Iddrisu. So once I type Dawud Iddrisu, you can see that it gives me the page for Dawud Iddrisu, right? Now, what we just did is called routes, okay? We were looking for a direction, an endpoint where it contains some resources that we are interested in, okay? So you can see that I simply went to, the domain name / the route that I want. And we're going to implement something as similar with, with the Python framework. And then with the Flask framework, then we will look at a simple Django framework. How does it look like? Okay, because we do not have much time to go through everything together today. All right, so let's step into it. So step number one, if you want to do anything with any framework, I'm sure that what you'll be doing is to find a simple way that you can install that particular framework. Okay, so I'm just going to click on installation. Okay, so let's click on installation. Okay, all right, so over here is contains, please note this particular site app. Okay, so this gives you an overview to build how to install the Flask framework. Okay, so if you are using Mac, Windows, or whatever operating system you are using, you'll be able to find help on the documentations, how to install Python, and then also how to go about installing the Flask framework. So to be able to use the Flask framework, you need to install Python. Okay, so usually you look for maybe Python. Just go to python.org and then look at the downloads, and you will find a download which is almost supported, maybe current version of that particular Python installer. Then download that particular installer and install it, and you'll be good to go. So this is the downloads page. You can see the current version is 3.8.5. If you want to, you are finding problem installing Python, you can check up on my series on Flask. The episode 1 is about installing Python. It's very easy. Just download it and then double click on it, and then you go your way. Okay. So that being said, once you are done installing Python, what do you have to do? Okay, so you need to install, you need to create a virtual environment. Okay, so virtual environment, you just use this, whatever project you are going to build, you create a project folder for that particular project, and then go into that project and use, say that, especially when you are using Windows, what really works very well is just say Python -m -venv instead of adding 3 to it, and that would create a virtual environment. So the virtual environment helps you keep track of many things that you are installing, the dependencies and all that, and you will have your way to go. Once you install the virtual environment, you can activate it. You have to activate it and then use when you install Python 3.8.5, it comes along with something called pip. So pip would help you to install all packages that belongs to Python. So you can see that we are using pip to install Flask in this instance. So once you install Flask, I think you are actually good to go. One of the few things that you might need to do is just to make sure that you are exporting your application and then you are using it. So without talking much, why don't we step in and then see how exactly you can start building a web application with Python. So this is my Windows terminal. I'm just going to navigate into my and then on my desktop, I can create a simple folder, and this folder is going to be called whatever the name you want to call it. Maybe this is actually a project for TrueGreen. I guess I'm a Microsoft ambassador, so I'm used to Microsoft namings of some of their demos. So let's say you want to build a project for TrueGreen. So you build, you create a project folder called TrueGreen. And then you simply have to navigate into the folder called TrueGreen. Okay, that means we are currently in TrueGreen, and I'll just clear everything here. And the simple thing that we are told from the installation is that, first of all, make sure that you navigate in and then you create your virtual environment. And like I mentioned, in creating your virtual environment, you can do Python. On Windows, you use Python. On Mac and Co, you use Python 3. So Python, then you say -m, then venv, and then venv. This would create a virtual environment and would host most of the packages you're about to install. I'll hit on enter. It will just take a few minutes, but it will create a sample, a virtual environment for me so that I can work from it. Okay, so all right, it looks like it's ready. Now let's go check let's open this in Visual Studio Code. Okay, so you can see that it simply installed, it simply created a virtual environment for me. When I open this virtual environment, it has some file called activate. It will be used to activate this particular environment of our projects that we are building so that we know all the packages that we are installing and all the fun stuff, okay? So now that we are done installing that, we need to activate it, okay? So mostly my Windows terminal will not allow me to activate it. So because of that, I would simply always use, the shell to do that, okay? Okay, this is TrueGreen. Okay, so I would simply go into my project folder. You can see it's pretty empty right now. I would open the terminal, and then I will simply use this to activate my virtual environment. Sorry, I think my virtual environment is in a script folder and not a bin folder. Let's go check it out. So you can see this script folder has my virtual environment. So I will simply say venv and scripts, and I would then activate that particular script. Okay. So this, you can see I am currently in a virtual environment, and this would help me to be able to do all other installations, and this environment that I've built will keep track of everything that I'm installing. So pip can be used to install Flask. So let's use pip to install Flask. So I'll go in there and I'll say pip install Flask. Okay, let's just say Flask. Okay. So this would install the Flask micro framework in our project for us in some few minutes. You can see that it is successful and it has installed Flask for us. Okay, now let's see. Following the guide, what next should we do? Okay, so it says that once you are done installing Flask, you have a virtual environment. You can simply, let's look at this quick start. Okay, there's this quick start over here. It's a very good example of how you can understand, Python. So you can see that to, install Python, to start, you've installed Python, you've created a virtual environment, you've installed. Now, exactly would Flask be able to help us to build a web application? Now, one is the CSS, JavaScript that you can bring it into Python and then build a robust web application with it. That's what exactly we are going to do. So it is nothing different from the HTML, CSS that So if you want to build a web page, you simply need to use, HTML to be able to build it. Okay, so let's look at how exactly can we follow up. I want us to follow all this up. Okay, how exactly can we do this together? Okay, so I will skip some of the steps. So I'll give you the right dosage which is needed. So let's go in here. So what is said is that now that we've installed, the Flash framework, we can create a new file. This file, we are going to call it app.py. Okay, so the py stands for, the Python extension. Then we need to just say from Flask. We installed Flask, right? So from Flask, it should import Flask. Okay, all right. And once we do this, we can then create a variable that can hold our Flask framework. So this variable, I'm going to call it app. So app is going to be, taking an instance of Flask that we are creating. So I'll call the name instance from it. This would simply create a variable that would allow me to use it as a decorator and then do, routing within my application. So I'll just say app.route. You remember on YouTube, we saw something like youtube.com, and I said, if you want to go to /register, it is called an endpoint, right? And that is called a route. So let's say that when someone visits our application and then visit this endpoint, what we want to do is to define a simple Python function. This function is going to be called maybe home. And this home function would simply direct the person to the web page and say that, welcome. Okay, I would save my work. And let's see, what next do we need to do? So I have in here, sorry, let's go up again, done the same thing that they are outputting. So I have app with a route, and I have a function which mine is called home instead of hello world. Okay, now let's look at what do we need to do. Now that you've created and anyone visit on your website, you want them to see hello world on their, on your site. So what we are to start our server, and when we start our server, it will simply, allow people to visit their web browser and then see it running. So let's do it again. So here I'm going to run this next code. Okay, so I'm going to say export Flask development. So I think here I can do that. Okay, so let's say export Flask. Okay, clear this guy up. I'm not in the virtual environment over there, so let's just go in here and just go do that. So I would say that we need to export Flask, and we are certain that we want to use, the development environment. Okay, so let's hit on enter. Okay, let me see, what am I missing over there? It says that it won't allow me to do, just a second. Let me see, what am I missing? Export Flask. Let's see, how do we solve this? That's kind of weird. That's somehow weird. Just a second. Let me just go back to my code, look at what I'm doing wrong in there. I've run a couple of projects in the last few days. Just want to make sure that we are on the same page over here with Docker and all this stuff. Just a second. Let's find out what are we missing. If you're in the chat and you're able to find out what exactly Dawuda is missing, please prompt me. Okay, you know what? Let me use Git Bash to do this. I think Git Bash always does this perfectly. So I'll go into desktop. I'll go into the True Green folder that we created. And then inside here, we can then use the export function. Say that we want the development. So it would then export our app that we created. And then we can run the code called Python. So let's look at it over here. Please look at it from here. you can run flask run to be able to run it, but sometimes you need to say Python minus m flask run. Okay, so this would, boot up your server and then give you an endpoint for you to run. So if we visit our browser right now and we type localhost 5000, that would help us run it. So just say localhost colon 5000. Hit on enter. Let's see what is up and let's go check up what exactly we did wrong. If you're able to spot it, please holler me over there. So just a second, over there is that we need to import flags. So you can see this is the error that we did, is that the framework that we installed was flags. So we need to import small flags from capital flags. So let's go do that. So in here, we want to export Flask from the framework called Flask. Okay, now you can see that the next thing that we need to do is to also make sure that we are using the capital Flask instead of the small Flask over there. So, okay, so with this in mind, everything should work. And you know what? We are not going to do anything. We are not going to restart our server. We're just going to run it from here. You know why? It's because we specifically are running a development environment. So whenever we make any changes, it is automatically listening to the changes that we are doing, and then it's going on. So if you follow someone's tutorial and then you have to, export maybe hello.py before you're able to run it, that's also good. But when I'm building and teaching, I just want to make sure that I start up by using development environment so that people see it in action very quickly, especially when we don't have much time on our side. So you can see that we are displaying a simple hello world on our web page. Just to mention again, look at what is helping us to do that. It's simply that we installed Python and then we created a project folder called TrueGreen. After creating the project folder, we then created a virtual environment with the Python minus m and then creating the venv to create a virtual environment. We activated the environment, and then when we open our project folder in Visual Studio Code, we simply created app.py file, and this app.py file allows us to do all the routing and exports and imports all the packages that we need to get our framework up and running. Create a project. This is same in our Flask framework. So the same way we exported, Flask, we imported Flask. We are just going to import something called render templates. Okay, so this render template would help us to be able to render our templates on the screen. So over here, we are simply going to say that we want to render index.js, index HTML, right? So I'm not specifying that go into the template folder. I'm just saying that I have a file called index.html. Please render that one for me. I'll save my work, go back to my page, look at it. Let's look at it in action. Hello world is displayed, and this is a template that is actually being displayed on our web page for us. Maybe you will be thinking, how can we use, or if you're already a web developer, you probably know of Get Bootstrap. That is Twitter Bootstrap. So I'll go to getbootstrap.com, and then, for example, I have this CDN. I will copy that, and I also have a starter, template. Okay, so I'll copy that, and in here I can go back to my page. In the index template, I can come back here and then I'll paste in everything I have over here to replace it. Now let's go back to our page and refresh it and see what happens. So you see, it still says hello world, but now we have Get Bootstrap working on our web page. Now let's simply do some, Bootstrap specific. So with Bootstrap, there's something called card. Okay, so you can have like a div with a class, and this class is going to be called card. So this card class would help you to, display a card. Okay, and you can do all this, but then you know what? Before that, let's just simply create a simple button, and we have a class, and this class would have btn primary. Okay, so I would say that register. I just want you to know that Bootstrap is working on this page so that we don't waste much time talking about Bootstrap, because today is not a session for Bootstrap. Okay, I will save my work, go back to my page, and then try to refresh. And you can see that I simply have a button on my page. This button is saying register, right? So what if you want to even register more endpoints? For example, just like you see on YouTube,